Man, how sweet it is. Hey folks, how you doing? My name is Tim Black. Welcome to another edition of Coffee with Tim Black. Coffee. Good stuff, good stuff. How you guys doing? How you feeling? All right, so yeah, the Coffee with Tim Black show. I'm trying my best to revamp the show and get it back in gear. For the record, the show is brought to you by justinformed.com. They're the sponsor of this show. And it's a social media site, justinformed.com. Everyone who's watching, all 16 of you, please go to justinformed.com and become members. I'm joking. I'm sure there's more than 16 people out there. It's got to be at least 18. What's up, Facebook? What's up, Periscope? What's up, YouTube? All right. So we got a couple of stories we like to share during the middle of the day that just can't wait for the night. So we use the Coffee with Tim Black show to get the word out about our news. And just so happens, there's some things that happened today that need to be talked about. All right. So before we get started, though, you know that justinformed.com is a social media site. Sign up there at justinformed.com. Also, there's the Tim Black Wolf Pack, which is behind me. See that wolf back there? The wolf's got my back. I hope you do too. Go to patreon.com, Tim's Take Live, and become a member. You can also become a member right here on YouTube. Hook it up. Become a part of the movement to speak truth to power. That's what we do here, guys. And we don't play for either team. We just call it as we see it. Make no bones about it, about how we feel, and what's going on. So, I got three stories, three hot potatoes here for you. We have, remember that guy in Alabama who horrible reputation. A lot of stuff came out. Donald Trump tried to support him, but then he failed miserably and embarrassed Donald Trump. His name is Roy Moore. Something about him touring the malls looking for hot chicks when he was like 50. Okay, so, but that guy's back in the news again, so we'll be, we unfortunately will cover that. And also, the DNC may be up to some shenanigans. We'll see. I'll let you be the judge of it as we unpack it a little bit. The DNC, they had these conditions because they have so many people running for a spot in the primary. They have these thresholds that you must reach in order to qualify to be on the debate stage. Well, the DNC has changed some limits and made some adjustments, and we're going to talk about that. But our lead story today is Robert Mueller speaks. He breaks his silence. And I have a clip of Robert Mueller doing just that, so let's go to that.
That is also a reason we investigated efforts to obstruct the investigation. The matters we investigated were of paramount importance. It was critical for us to obtain full and accurate information from every person we questioned. When a subject of an investigation obstructs that investigation or lies to investigators, it strikes at the core of the government's effort to find the truth and hold wrongdoers accountable. Let me say a word about the report. The report has two parts, addressing the two main issues we were asked to investigate. The first volume of the report details numerous efforts emanating from Russia to influence the election. This volume includes a discussion of the Trump campaign's response to this activity, as well as our conclusion that there was insufficient evidence to charge a broader conspiracy. And in the second volume, the report describes the results and analysis of our obstruction of justice investigation involving the president. The order appointing me special counsel authorized us to investigate actions that could obstruct the investigation. And we conducted that investigation, and we kept the office of the acting attorney general apprised of the progress of our work. And as set forth in the report, after that investigation, if we had had confidence that the president clearly did not commit a crime, we would have said so. We did not, however, make a determination as to whether the president did commit a crime. The introduction to the Volume 2 of our report explains that decision. It explains that under long-standing department policy, a president cannot be charged with a federal crime while he is in office. That is unconstitutional. Even if the charge is kept under seal and hidden from public view, that too is prohibited. The special counsel's office is part of the Department of Justice, and by regulation, it was bound by that department policy. Charging the president with a crime was therefore not an option we could consider. The department's written opinion explaining the policy makes several important points that further informed our handling of the obstruction investigation. Those points are summarized in our report, and I will describe two of them for you. First, the opinion explicitly permits the investigation of a sitting president because it is important to preserve evidence while memories are fresh and documents available. Among other things, that evidence could be used if there were co-conspirators who could be charged now. And second, the opinion says that the Constitution requires a process other than the criminal justice system to formally accuse a sitting president of wrongdoing. And beyond department policy, we were guided by principles of fairness. It would be unfair to potentially accuse somebody of a crime when there can be no court resolution of the actual charge. So that was Justice Department policy. Those were the principles under which we operated, and from them we concluded that we would not reach a determination one way or the other about whether the president committed a crime. That is the office's final position, and we will not comment on any other conclusions or hypotheticals about the president.
All right. So this Mueller speaking out now has caused a lot of speculation on both the left and the right, both claiming victories of some sort. We have on the left, we have Cory Booker, senator, also candidate for the Democratic primary, saying it's time for us to impeach Donald Trump. That's what time it is. So he is touting the horns very loudly, as are Elizabeth Warren and several other members, as they point to the Mueller statement as being some type of indication of, hey, we got Donald Trump right where we want him. And the only pathway to justice is to indict Donald Trump or attempt to indict Donald Trump. And we have on the right, we have basically they're saying more of nothing. It's a repeat of what we already knew, that Mueller was unable to indict Donald Trump even if he wanted to. And indicting him, and let me put this exactly as precisely as I can. What Mueller said is we did not say that Donald Trump committed a crime. And we also did not say that he committed a crime. And both sides are kind of like running with that theory. You get what I'm saying? Democrats are running with, well, he did not say he didn't commit a crime. I have no idea who that is. I'm hoping it's nothing to do with sound. We have problems here sometimes. Get what I'm saying? So he did not commit a crime, and he didn't commit a crime. It's in the middle. Look, let me just read you from the notes, okay? So the impeachment, he did not commit a crime, and he did not commit a crime. So they're not exonerating him, nor are they saying that he committed a crime. In fact, there are rules. And the rules are that a sitting president cannot be indicted, cannot be charged with a federal crime. Now, I want to come back. Put a pin in that. We'll come back to that. So Mueller also went on in the beginning of the speech, which I did not include. He talked about the Russian interference. He said Russian interference consisted of hacking of the DNC servers and consisted of Facebook ads and anonymous Twitter accounts that were used in order, he says, to interfere in our elections. Okay, so that was also part of the conversation. Now, before I go too far, I just want to make sure that everybody can hear us, because sometimes you get spam calls. I just want to make sure that you guys on Facebook, can you hear me? People on YouTube, can you hear me? Okay, so looks like we got, no one's talking about they can't hear us on Facebook, so that's good. And on YouTube, listening like a good boy. Haha, Jesse. Okay, so it looks like my people on YouTube can hear as well. Okay, so here's what I want to get to, guys. And I want to reiterate to everyone. Look, okay. Tim Black, TBTV, this show right here, we are not in this. We don't have a horse in this race. I repeat, we do not have a horse in the race. What I am tired of is everyone I watch, it seems, everyone that some people send me links to this stuff, and I'm trying to tell you, every source that you're quoting me with has a horse in the race. Frankly, they either want Trump in or they want Trump out. What we try to do here is to try to find the truth. The truth, like my tooth. And it's much better, by the way, but the truth of the matter is what we are trying to find. All right? So with that in mind, let's say this. I would like to know, why did we have all of the fiasco, all of the bluster, all of the innuendo for the last couple of years about this, if it is a rule that a sitting president can't be indicted no matter what he found? That rule was not just made up because William Barr is Attorney General. For the people in the slow seats, way in the back, the screw in the light bulb seats, who got here late, were lucky to get in. Mueller said it's unconstitutional for him to, even if he found Donald Trump in the bed with an underage child or a dead hooker, he could not charge him with anything. He can find him with a smoking gun in his hand, blowing the smoke from the barrel, and a dead Russian who was about to spill the beans over there, and there's nothing he could do to the president. If you are still a consumer of MSNBC or CNN, I would like to ask you why. We don't have a vast staff here at the TBTV headquarters, but we can listen and we can take the time, because see, when you're an honest actor, you just find out information. The information is there was never going to be a Trump indictment, because you cannot charge a sitting president with a crime.
Okay, I found this on the web for president with a crime. Check it out.
Now, it may not make you feel good, you may not like it, it's the way it is, okay? I'm not saying he didn't commit a crime. Robert Mueller's saying, we're not saying he didn't commit a crime. We're saying we couldn't charge him with one if we wanted to. So it's right in that gray area which allows the circus to continue. Now, I said we put a pin in it. Robert Mueller charged with a crime, federal crime, unconstitutional. Charging president with a crime was never an option. No determination one way or another. So so now all of the candidates who have been running on the impeachment method. Here's the other thing. The likelihood of impeaching Donald Trump is slim to none, at least as a presiding president. Right? Because in order to do that, you have to get the Senate to go along with it. Most members of the Senate, regardless of what you see in the news, regardless of what the occasional Republican who throws caution to the wind and says something bad about Donald Trump in order to get basically a news cycle, they are more concerned with their party than they are concerned with what Donald Trump has done, if anything. So there will not be an indictment. There will not be an impeachment. What there will be is a continued feeding at the frenzy, a feeding of frenzy at the trough of corporate media as they gobble up all the clicks and views they can from this story. I cover this story reluctantly because I already know that they're not going to indict Donald Trump. I've been saying this. And also, they're not going to impeach Donald Trump. I've been saying this as well. And also said Donald Trump was going to become your president because the Democratic Party did not have the good sense to run somebody who didn't have 100 skeletons in their closet by the name of Hillary Clinton. But that's a whole nother story. So that's where we are. That's where we are. Robert Mueller, he spoke up today and he said, I'm not in it. As we would say, people from my era, Generation X, my name's Bennett and I ain't in it. Now, it would be great if there was some type of arbiter could, walk the thin line. And I guess that's what Robert Mueller's been doing. But he said it's not up to him to make these calls or to do this. So if they look, and I have no faith in all in the Democratic Party waiting till Donald Trump is no longer president and bringing charges against him. Maybe they will. I mean, but I doubt it very seriously. I mean, we have a way of glorifying even the worst of us. Look what they did with Bush. We know Bush took us to war illegally. He committed war crimes. There was no war constitutionally determined. And no one charged Bush with anything. Instead, they gave him medals. Oh, but so if they got an obstruction charge on Donald Trump, all of a sudden backbones have grown, spines have been stiffened, people stand upright and do things that are, I don't think so. I don't think that's what's going to happen. All right. Perhaps Mueller wanted to rebuff the Democratic calls for him to testify before Congress. So there are a lot of schools of thought about why Mueller made this statement today. He really gave no new information. The Democrats have been riding on this. Elizabeth Warren has been speaking about this, about the need, and she was reading parts of the Mueller report. Well, that's going to have to serve as a testimony because Robert Mueller made it clear that this is all he has to say on the matter. So Elizabeth Warren can continue to be his stand-in or his body double and testify before Congress and make these statements about the Mueller report. I think that's all we really have on this. I don't think there's anything else to say. Of course, corporate media will have a lot more to say because it's very valuable, it's very lucrative to discuss this topic because we have those who have so much animosity pent up about Donald Trump that they're going to tune into this, frankly. And they're hoping beyond hope that suddenly Donald Trump will become impeached and then the evil orange man goes away. The evil orange man goes away and all that good stuff. So I really should take this. All right, anyway, before I have no other clips to play. Give me a brief 30 seconds. It's the wife, and I have the kids. So that's rude as hell, isn't it? I don't want to lie to anybody. I'm gonna lie. Hold on a second. We'll be right back. Is this thing freezing? Hey, what's wrong? Okay, thank you, baby. Bye-bye. All right, we're back. We're good to go. Okay, so everything's cool. Everybody feel good, though? Everybody got the gist of the Mueller investigation? We all where we need to be? I hope so. All right, so everything here is live time. We do live. We don't, nothing scripted. There's no teleprompter. There's no staff directing traffic. There's nobody manning the phones. This is all real stuff. It's nitty and gritty, in the city, baby. So let's move. Let's keep it moving. Let's go on to the DNC, guys. The DNC 2020. Oh, the DNC 2020. DNC doubles the threshold for third and fourth Democratic debates. Woo! Yes, yes, yes. The Democratic primary season is among us. It's amongst us. And so are the new rule changes that are going to impact this crowded field of Democratic contenders. Many names you know, or many names you do not know. Or maybe you know only a handful of these folks. But there has been a rule change. Now, we know there was a threshold amount that the candidates needed to reach in order to be included in the first two debates, Democratic primary debates, scheduled for June. Wow, June's right around the corner. 65,000 donations was one of the requirements, and also to be polling at least 1%. Now, when we look at the field of Democratic contenders, we'll see that there are several who are below 1%. Or just at 1% at this point, okay? The ones that are already secured, they're above 1%. You know those names. I don't want to leave anybody out, but let's take a stab at it. Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, Beto O'Rourke, Buttigieg, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, Elizabeth Warren, Amy Klobuchar, Marianne Williamson, Tulsi Gabbard, Andrew Yang Gang, and there are at least a couple more people who have secured it. But that, if I'm going just on memory, that's about 10. Okay, so we have some other candidates who have not reached that threshold due to the last polls that I looked at. Now, here's what's happening for the third and fourth debate. Since there's so many candidates, the DNC says that they're forced to change the rules for the second debate. They're going to up the amount of polling that you have to be. You can't be just polling at 1. You have to be polling at 2% in order to qualify to be on the debate stage for the third and fourth debate. The third and fourth debate. The doubling of the threshold will mean that a number of candidates who qualify for the first set of debates will no longer meet the qualifications for the debates in September and October, and will now have to work to make up the difference over the next few months. So, yes, these changes will impact candidates. I know that in some polls you may be polling at 1%, and some other polls at 2%. I don't know how they work that out. I think Andrew Yang is polling at 1%, and some other polls at 3%. Same thing for Tulsi Gabbard. But not all is lost. What needs to happen is, well, you need to go out and support the candidate that you prefer. And we need to push those candidates that we care about, that we want to see on that debate stage, all the way through this thing, or at least the third and fourth debate stage. So that's the opportunity that you must take it as an opportunity, because we know the DNC is always dealing just fairly. Fair dealing DNC, right? The other changes on the polls that help a candidate qualify: 2 polls, Reuters and Las Vegas Review-Journal, have been removed from the list, which now includes Associated Press, ABC News, CBS News, CNN, Des Moines Register, Fox News, Monmouth University, NBC News, New York Times, NPR, Quinnipiac, University of New Hampshire, Wall Street Journal, USA Today, Washington Post, and Winthrop University. The DNC said Wednesday that they reserve the right to add a Nevada-based poll if one with adequate standards can be found. The committee announced on Wednesday that ABC News, in partnership with Univision, will host the third debate if needed. Will host the third debate if needed. The debate, like those in June and July, will occur over consecutive nights where they're going to have an A team and a B team. Now, that was the other thing about this polling, guys. They were going to be chosen randomly about who prepares with whom, what could be very problematic for some candidates, and maybe send signals about who's actually very popular or who's considered a front runner Now we know as it stands, even with my disdain for the polls themselves, because the sampling is not always accurate. And there are several polls out there that they reference repeatedly that have no young people in them at all. When I say young people, I mean anyone under 50, which includes me for the time being. So, what kind of poll is it when you just let's just not ask anybody, born, in the 70s or earlier or after or later. 70s or later, that's it. So that's a problem, guys. So if 20 of the candidates qualify for the first set of debates, each night will be capped at 10 people on the stage, the aide said. So 10 people each stage. What happens to the remaining if we had 24 candidates and if they all meet the threshold? I guess they start judging on a curve, which means some people will fall off the curve. DNC Chairman Tom Perez has said since he took the helm of the committee in 2017 that he was looking to run an open and transparent DNC chair committee. And yeah, look, guys, I think we can all agree. Well, I don't know if we can all agree. I hope we can agree. Based on the reporting, if you've been following this channel, you'll know that I think, what I believe based on my investigation, that the DNC basically still wants to choose its own candidates. Like what we learned in 2016 about the Democratic Party, about the DNC, that they could go in a smoke-filled room in the back and choose their own candidate, that they're a private organization that owes no duty to the people whatsoever. That's what they said in the court of law. That was their defense for the inequities in the way that they handled the 2016 primaries. Hey, we don't owe you anything. We're a private organization. This is the same private organization that I have to hear Robert Mueller complain about them being hacked with no evidence to show they've been hacked. But never let the FBI look at the servers, no way to determine if they were hacked by an outside source other than a vendor which they pay, called CrowdStrike, to examine their servers. The FBI never looked at the servers. I never heard Mueller say they looked at the servers. What they did is look at the records made by CrowdStrike. Bottom line is, the DNC is a private organization, can do what it wants to do willy-nilly, but now that they say they've been hacked or that their servers have been compromised, now the whole world must change. Now we must throw sanctions on Russia, and everyone must be afraid that we're losing our democracy. Now, I don't know about you guys. I don't know about you, but if Jiffy Lube, the organization, the company, whoever owns Jiffy Lube, if they got hacked, I wouldn't say it was the end of our democracy. I'd say that sucks to be a Jiffy Lube shareholder, but I would not say it's an attack on our democracy. The DNC is just like Jiffy Lube. It's just like the March of Dimes. It's just like Microsoft. It's just like a U.S.-based company that had somebody look at its servers, whether it was internal or external. That is not an act of war for an entity that says they're a private organization that can do what it wants to do. It should not have the same protections as a government agency. And it should not be held up as such, just to make a point or just to further a narrative. So that's what's happened there, and that's pretty much where I stand on it. But that's all based in fact. Go look it up. And Joy Reid will never have me on the show to express that point, but that's okay. That's why we got our own platform. So the DNC has made changes to the third and fourth debates. I have no trust that there isn't some ulterior motive somewhere in here, because it's just what they do. They want middle-of-the-road candidates like Pete Buttigieg, Joe Biden, Beto, Kamala Harris. They don't want people who are pushing the status quo, and more seriously, they don't want candidates who will hurt their donors, which are the big corporations, the big special interests. Candidates such as,